can you briefly bring me through, besides healthcare costs, what other factors do you think has led to our debt crisis? I mean, during our last interview, to quote you, you said regarding proposals from Democrats, they sound great, are good politics that might get you reelected, but it's crappy economics. So
Oh yeah.
was it exclusively Joe Biden's policies regarding healthcare, regarding other things that led to the debt ceiling crisis? Bring me through what factors.
No. Look. The debt ceiling is just has been around for 100 plus years. That's just the nature of it. What enraged me and really should have said anyone who actually owns a calculator was the lack of understanding of the mechanisms around it. Every time someone was saying we're going to default, okay, for those of us who actually showed up at our business classes, default is when you don't pay the interest on your bonds or don't pay off the bond when it's time. We were never going to default. Now, that doesn't mean you didn't have a horrible stressor if 30% of every dollar a government spends is borrowed. That's a technical default. And it's almost like there was purposely this attempt to scare financial markets, though if you actually watched bond futures and those through this whole scenario, they stayed stable. Those in the futures market of sovereign debt, they're so much smarter than the rest of us. They didn't play the hysteria game. And why I'm annoyed with this is we still avoided the really difficult conversation of, okay, so we've now been able to squeeze down spending by a couple $1 trillion over 10 years, but it's coming from 11% of the budget, which is the non-defense discretionary. So you've taken it from spending $700 billion on government to $600 billion. Wonderful. But that's not where the growth in spending is. Over the decade, that non-discretionary was going to be pretty much flat. The incredible amount of spending growth and borrowing growth is our healthcare entitlements. It's Medicare. And we have a moral obligation to be able to keep that societal promise. But we are in such avoidance of the discussion of how to finance it, how to make it work, how to change the actual price of delivering that healthcare, that we had all this excitement, all this dancing, and never actually really talked about the problem.
So you feel like in the conversations that Speaker McCarthy and other top GOP negotiators, do you feel like they were able to get that message through to Democrats, or they were still dancing around the issues, the true issues as well in the negotiations?
Yeah, I'm not being a jerk here. It's not that I feel I can prove that there was no discussion about it, because my brothers and sisters on the left, there's this absolutely duplicitous thing going on here in Washington. Can you imagine that? Where I will have conversations with some of my Democrat colleagues when there's no camera around or reporter around, and they understand that they know it's immoral not being willing to talk about Social Security, and in less than 9 years, the trust fund is gone. Our brothers and sisters who are 65 and up take a 25% cut in their check, and therefore the United States will double senior poverty. That's immoral. And yet we had a president get up behind that podium during his State of the Union say, you're not allowed to talk about, and we're not going to touch Social Security. Okay. And we all applauded, but the cruelty of that is great politics. And in 9 years, we double senior poverty because of our unwillingness to tell the truth about the math. That's not feelings, it's math. And it also has this little ethical overtone. It's immoral what we're doing, but it's good politics.